In the middle of the vast ocean, when the sun has just risen above the horizon, a new day begins for the fishermen. No alarm clock, no urban noise, just the sound of waves lapping against the boat and the sound of nets thrown into the deep sea. We will follow them, witnessing their journey to make a living in the heart of the ocean, where each catch is a gamble with nature and each fish is a drop of sweat and effort in exchange. Once the fishing spots are determined, the fishermen immediately begin to cast their nets. The green ropes are as thin as silk, but they are the main tool in their journey to make a living in the ocean. Every move must be precise. If they are even a little slow, the fish will escape. Time passed in suspense. Then it was time to pull the net up. The whole boat seemed to tense up with each pull. The net began to rise from the water, and inside were hundreds, thousands of silvery fish, splashing in the sunlight. It was a scene full of life, bringing joy to those who had been exposed to the sun and wind for many hours. The fish had just been pulled up and had not yet drained when the fishermen began sorting. Each basket of fresh squid was neatly arranged, its eyes still sparkling, its body glowing pink. The nimble hands picked each fish, separating each type: squid, mackerel, herring. All were handled neatly, ready to be put into the cold storage compartment. After sorting, each basket of fresh squid and fish is neatly arranged on the deck, ready to be taken down to the storage compartment. This is an important step to keep the seafood fresh until it reaches the dock. Under the bright sunlight of the open sea, baskets of fish shimmered like silver, jostling each other on the colorful deck. An arm quickly reached out from the hatch, signaling the group of fishermen below waiting to receive the goods. Everything worked in unison like an assembly line. Each person had a job. No one stood still for even a minute. Keeping the fish fresh meant keeping the value and also keeping the effort of a whole journey drifting far out at sea. While some boats begin harvesting, in another area, another team of fishermen deploying the same fishing technique. Large coils of line and net are lowered into the water, forming a wide circle enclosing the entire school of fish inside. On board, everyone was attentively watching every little movement offshore. Below the surface, schools of fish began to appear. Thousands of silvery goldfish clustered in the net, struggling in the clear blue water. Some fishermen even went into the water to help collect them, making sure the nets didn't tear and the fish didn't escape.
Each successful catch is the result of a cohesive, well-coordinated team, not only in terms of strength, but also in terms of experience, understanding of the sea, and love for the job.
Alhamdulillah. Terus.
Once the net was closed and pulled up, the fish began to pour onto the deck. The deck immediately became a river of fish, silver-bellied, yellow-finned fish jumping around in the remaining salt water. The fishermen did not wait. They began using nets, hands, and even feet to gather the fish. The atmosphere was now as lively as a battle, but full of excitement. Everyone was highly focused, because this was the decisive moment. They had to collect quickly, neatly, and cleanly to avoid loss. Every push, every step exudes the tenacious and courageous working spirit of those who have devoted their lives to the sea. And here it is, the most glorious result of a day at sea. The hold of the ship now seems to be about to burst open from the sheer number of fish. Thousands of fresh fish cover the floor, creating a veritable sea of fish right on the deck. Cheers rang out without words. The eyes and smiles of the fishermen said it all. Sweat beaded on their foreheads, hands and feet stained with seawater. But everyone was happy because this trip to the sea had brought sweet fruit. Each fish was a trophy, the result of diligence, perseverance, and love for the sea. This was not just a job, but the lives of many generations. At another fishing spot, a small boat continues to drag its net through the silty, muddy waters. The sea is not always blue, and not always the open sea, but every body of water has its own gifts from nature. Beneath the murky brown water lies a rich ecosystem. The fishermen watch the nets carefully, feeling each slight jerk that signals the entrance of schools of fish. Bit by bit, the nets become narrower and narrower, heavier and heavier. After a tense moment of pulling the net, the result was finally revealed. The catch was lifted from the water and brought straight to the deck of the boat amid simple cheers. Each fish thrashed around inside the thick net, a clear sign of a successful catch.
Pilih. Lampu hendak. Lampu lah kasi dua awak nak. Awak mau mancing pukul 10.
Out at sea, the trawler was moving silently, leaving behind the large net doors gliding deep under the sea. These were steel arms, keeping the net mouth wide open, ready to attract any school of fish that passed by. The net had been pulled for hours, stretching hundreds of meters along the ocean floor. Inside, each stream of fish had been lured, diving deep into the net bag without knowing it. Now the boat was gathering strength to pull in, the nets grew thicker and heavier, and a myriad of glittering lights appeared in the water, a sign of a full catch. This was the most exciting moment when the day's hard work was about to be revealed. As soon as the fish are loaded onto the boat, processing begins almost immediately. There is no waiting. The fish are sent straight down the conveyor belt system where skilled workers begin sorting, inspecting, and pre-processing. With modern offshore fishing vessels, a closed chain has been equipped inside the hull. Each fish, after being cleaned, will be transferred to the freezing area, canned or put into storage, ensuring to keep the freshness as if just caught from the sea. After hours of pulling the net, the heavy bag finally began to float to the surface. Gentle waves lapped around the bulging net. Inside were tons of struggling fish. Finally, the heavy red net was brought up to the deck. Inside was a huge mass of fish, jostling and thrashing the end of the arduous journey of pulling the net into the open sea. The yellow buoys marking the net's anchor points lay quietly beside it as a testament to the precision and skillful technique. Seabirds kept their eyes on the fish, swooping down to pick up each fallen fish as if sharing the joy of the harvest with humans. Each fisherman began to prepare to open his net, letting the fish spill onto the deck, the beginning of the sorting, preservation, and processing process. Each fishing trip is not just a hunt, but also a life of love for the sea, for the profession, for the values that have been attached through many generations. Thank you for joining us on today's voyage. If you love stories of daily work, authentic moments from the vast ocean, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next journeys.